25 people had to be treated at Minnesota hospitals after a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam encountered extreme turbulence, causing a diversion to Minneapolis. The flight, carrying 275 passengers and 13 crew members, experienced the rough air flying over Wyoming. Thanks for tuning into Midday. I'm Maria Chaleos. Just this afternoon, Delta says that all 7 crew members and the 18 passengers who had to be taken to the hospital have been released. Now we are hearing from people on board that flight detailing their experiences and injuries. Joseph Carbone and his wife were heading to Kenya through Amsterdam to give eyeglasses to children in need. He tells KSL TV's Deja Brown that the flight started out just fine until suddenly it wasn't.
Everything was fine, just a normal flight. We were toward the front of the plane, and spirits were good. Everything was fine. It was about an hour and a half into the flight, and the turbulence hit in 3 waves, if you will, and each one progressively got worse. We actually came out of our seats a little bit. We didn't. It was just like a bad roller coaster, and a lot of people screaming, and it just got worse and worse and worse. I was afraid that maybe the plane was damaged from that.
Heather Lynn Lorkey was also a passenger on the flight. She spoke exclusively to KSL News Radio's Eric Cabrera, saying when the turbulence hit, anything not buckled in, like the flight attendants, some passengers, including children, and things like phones, they all went flying.
Without warning, about 55 minutes or so into the flight, without warning, we weightless. Everything that was not seatbelted in or basically put in a bag, maybe in an overhead bin, hit the ceiling, came back down, and it was multiple times. The carts hit the ceilings. The flight attendants were hitting the ceilings. People that were coming back from bathrooms were hitting the ceilings. Children that were on people's laps were hitting the ceiling. It was unlike anything I've ever seen before, and I have flown since I was an infant.
Joseph saw the same thing from where he was sitting.
So there was one flight attendant who was attending to us. She went all the way up to the ceiling. The passengers actually grabbed her to keep her from hitting the ceiling. But everything that was around you just went up in the air. So I lost my phone for about an hour. We were able to find it. But yeah, it was crazy. It was something we'll always remember.
Heather Lynn says the sounds of everything happening from screams to breaking glass still give her chills.
It's crazy. As I talk to my best friend that I was traveling with, we keep getting just kind of goosebumps talking about it. The screams were like, I can't stop hearing those of people just screaming. And it was just every time we were dropping, we were weightless in our seats multiple times and all. It's not funny, but it's a weird thing to describe. But everything that was on my nightstand next to me was up in the air, almost floating a couple of times. And then everything shot forward and went to the front of the plane. I'm missing all kinds of items still. And the screams from people that was the craze. And you're just hearing glass shatter left and right. And the pilots, who were absolutely incredible, every single person that was on that plane that worked for Delta, nobody was getting on the intercoms to say what was going on, as I'm sure the pilots were doing a trillion different things at once to make sure that we were all safe. But the flight attendants who had broken bones, they were walking around asking every single person if they were okay.
As for injuries, Joseph says most of the people hurt appeared to be in the middle and the back of the plane.
There were a couple that were hurt pretty badly. There were a couple of flight attendants that were hurt. Interestingly enough, the people that were hurt were, from my understanding, from the middle of the plane to the back of the plane. And so I guess maybe where that might be lighter, that they experienced the turbulence a little more.
Another passenger, Adam Nash, tells ABC News that there were several people with head wounds.
A gentleman 2 seats down from me, he had a gashed wound in the top of his head, and he was bleeding rather profusely.
Adam says he had to go to the hospital to get checked out.
I ended up going to the hospital after the plane successfully landed to go and have it checked out to see about cracked rib.
Joseph says the crew on board the flight was amazing, even with everything crazy happening. He says the experience hasn't changed his thoughts on flying. In fact, he'll be on a new flight tonight to continue his journey.
Kudos to the Delta crew. They made sure that we were comfortable, safe. They had us as number one. So they're amazing.
Leanne Clement Nash sharing similar feelings about that crew.
I will hand it to the flight attendants. They were incredibly calm, very well trained, and very responsive.
Heather Lynn says Delta crew and first responders in Minneapolis were absolute professionals the entire time.
It is very important for us to get out that the people of Delta, the pilots, the employees that were on board with us were the most compassionate, kind, and incredible people that we were surrounded by. Once we landed, there was police, firefighters, paramedics, you name it. They were coming on board and they were checking every single person that was on the plane. It was, for as chaotic and scary as it was very smooth. We were then taken off of the plane and taken into a Sky Club, which was opened just for us. And mind you, as we were getting in, it was late and a lot of employees were off. They were supposed to be going home. They brought out fresh, hot food. They were serving everybody whatever we needed in the Sky Club. Police officers were in the Sky Club asking again if anybody was injured who needed medical attention. Mm-hmm. They had Delta representatives left and right working on, we all had hotels to go to. Wow. We got meal vouchers. We had Ubers getting us to the hotel. And they were personally walking us from where we picked up our baggage to the area where we needed to catch an Uber. And they did not leave us until we were put into vehicles.
As for the whole experience, how would Joseph describe what happened?
Treacherous, fear. But we tried not to express it. And boy, we were blessed. I really believe there were angels around. You have to remember that even though there were 25 people and our hearts go out to them and their families, we pray for them. That was still, from what we experienced, just a few in number. I talked to the pilot and we went down about 1,000 feet in a very short period of time. They think they were pelted by large hail. No one was ready for this. They didn't hear any warnings from any towers. This was totally unexpected, and it just happened. And we march forward. We smile, and all is good. All is well.
How are Joseph and his wife doing now?
Just a little stiff, a little shaky, but we're doing wonderful. We're, by the grace of God, we're okay. We're being blessed.
But he says he and his wife are not scared of flying after this.
We're going to get on a flight tonight, and we'll go through Amsterdam, and we'll continue on to Nairobi. And with smiles, we're going to continue on. That's just what you do. So I'm not worried about flying. Nah.
Delta says it's operating a special flight from Minneapolis to Amsterdam tonight so that customers can carry on with their journey, and truly a miracle that no one died. We are continuing our coverage of a Delta flight from Salt Lake City to Amsterdam that encountered severe turbulence. 25 people were sent to the hospital once the plane was diverted to Minneapolis. KSL meteorologist Matt Johnson says that there were thunderstorms around southwestern Wyoming at that time. Now, according to flight path data, the flight left Salt Lake City, then headed southeast over the Uintas before turning northeast back towards the original flight plan. Flight aware data shows that the plane hit the rough air and fell about 1,000 feet north of Rawlins, Wyoming, and what appears to be just east of the thunderstorms in that region. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy spoke to Fox News this morning about the incident, saying federal officials will investigate.
I'm not sure if this was knowable with regard to the turbulence or if this was weather that popped up, but anyone who flies knows that we delay flights, cancel flights when weather happens. That didn't happen here, and so we are doing a full-scale review right now to see what went wrong, because, again, this kind of turbulence is incredibly dangerous, and we don't want the flying public to go through it. So, again, what we find out, we are going to remedy. We'll get to the bottom of it, and I'll be happy to come back and share those results in that review with you.
Secretary Duffy says this is a great example as to why you should always wear your seatbelt on the plane, even if the sign is off. That's in case you encounter unexpected rough air.
I always wear my seatbelt. I don't want to be just Mr. Safety Guy, but I leave my seatbelt on all the time unless I go to the bathroom. This is a great example. Keep your seatbelt on when you're on a flight. Accidents can happen. Things can happen. And seatbelts truly do make flying safer, so wear your seatbelt unless you go to the bathroom and the seatbelt sign is off.
We will continue to track this story as it develops. We hope to get more information on the passengers who were injured and the investigation into what happened. We'll bring you both as soon as we know more on air and online at KSLNewsRadio.com.